that the way that people express themselves as human beings is essentially how healthy your mind is. And there's not really any way to separate the mind and the body from each other. So if you want to have a healthy body, which is most people's primary goal, your mind also has to be healthy as well, because the two are intertwined. They're inseparable to the extent that when one is functioning really well, the other one follows suit. If one of them is trying to pull the other one down, automatically your whole homeostasis falls apart. And you know, when you look at it from the perspective of this is the 21st century and people's lives are getting more and more complex with each passing day, with each passing natural disaster or crisis like we're going through right now with COVID-19, these are things that really take a toll on not just the mind, but on the body. And when you have the strength from both directions, you become that internally stable person that, you know, nothing can get down. And that's really important in the long run, because it's life. As we all know, there's going to be ups, there's going to be downs, and all kinds of roundabouts. So just starting there, I think, is a really important place to give value and priority to a person's mental health. I've heard a lot from, you know, clients coming in, oh, you know, my parents won't come in, or my husband or whoever, you know, maybe a little more old fashioned, they don't want to come in because they think, oh, I'm not crazy. Why do I need to, you know, go see a therapist or have any kind of work in the field of psychology? And it's not that at all. And that's primarily why I work under the title of a life coach, because essentially the way you each have your own professions and you're specialized in your fields, I specialize in life. And everything I studied when I was doing my master's in psychology, I thought to myself, these are things that everyone should know from childhood and on, especially from the teenage years, and especially in adulthood and in marriage, and in when you have your own family, and when you have a husband or wife, or you're a parent, you're a friend, you're an employee or an employer. For every role, it's so important to show up as your best self, you know, barring nothing. And why not? Because you live one time. And if you can be amazing and have an amazing life, you know, it doesn't get any better than that.
That's true. If you can achieve your highest potential, then why not?
Right? Yeah, most certainly. Yeah. And that's what I help people do in any realm, at any stage in their life. That's exactly what I help people do. I tell my clients, they come in, it's like, I'm an expert on life and relationships. What is it that I can do for you to make your life better?
Right. So what would you say about the current situation? I mean, there's an outbreak going on. It's a pandemic. Everybody's freaking out. So many people are stressed out. They might, the fear or any kind of, let's say, problems that they're facing, let's say everyone, I mean, I'll talk about myself. I go grocery shopping and I come back home and I have to literally disinfect everything, because, you know, that's kind of starting to affect you because it's changing your daily life routine. So what would your suggestion be? What steps should we take, or how should we even approach this? How should we look at it to just make it easier?
Well, I mean, definitely there's a high value placed on fear. The reason that fear exists in the mind and body is to give us a lot of information. A lot of people look at anxiety or sadness, worry, fear, those undesirable feelings as a bad thing, where in reality, those things are telling us something. Now, yes, of course, we're human beings, and in this modern day and age, we have a lot of information, and you get, I mean, I just like myself, I'm home and the news is on all day and I'm curious. I want to know how many people this, how many cases there, what's going on, what are the statistics. The most important thing that people can do, yes, of course, take in as much information as you can without your mind getting frazzled and going in 100 different directions at once. The most important thing people can do is to take the preventative measures to be healthy and strong. Because this is something, I don't know how many of you have gotten the regular flu, which started in, I think, 1918. This is something that's probably going to be around for the rest of humanity. It's not going to go away. And to be scared of it, to be that our hospitals are not flooded without the correct and the right amounts of supplies and doctors and nurses, 100%. There's only so much of that to go around so suddenly. But that's going to balance out in the same way that we have doctors and nurses and urgent cares, and we have places where we can go when we get a regular cold or flu. That exists for us now too. Now, as we ramp things up over time, as people will get sick, this season, the coming winter, next winter, and hundreds of more winters to come, it is important to take preventative measures and to be strong and to be healthy. Again, even myself, I'm a very clean person. I have small kids. I wash my hands so much already. Get gloves, get masks, get prepared. Yeah. But to a certain extent, these are germs. Germs are smarter than us. They're microscopic. They're going to be in the air. You don't know where it's going to be. You will drive yourself mad by trying to do everything that is recommended. Take the precautions necessary that's recommended first and foremost by the CDC. I used to go to school in Atlanta where the CDC is located, and it was adjacent to Emory University where I've taken classes. And the people that work there, they know what's going on. They know exactly what's going on. They are literally at the front line of research. Go to their website, just check what they're recommending. They update it as needed, but it's not like how it is in the media. The media is like anything that they get a hold of, it's going to become this overblown thing because that's the media. That's what they do. But they are, of course, hopefully, reporting science-based, research-based, not implementing more fear in people, because this will come and go, and then it will come and go again. And you can only do so much. There's a lot of really good recommendations I've gotten from essential care workers of have your Tylenol, Dayquil, NyQuil, have your vitamins, vitamin C every day, your daily vitamins. There's a really good supplement. I posted it recently on my Instagram page. It's by Dr. Schultz, American Botanical Pharmacy. He has a cold and flu. It's like a bottle of just all kinds of really good stuff. And I've gotten the regular flu before, and I've taken that, and it's like works magic. So having those kinds of things on hand, and like taking superfood based supplements and things like that to be strong, so that if your body gets something, it is prepared to
able to fight. Yeah, just taking 100%. The precautions and boosting your immune system, basically.
100%. And then otherwise, it's germs. It's going to be, you don't know where it's going. You're going to wear this mask. You're going to bring it home. You're going to throw it away. It's going to be there. What are you going to do?
Yeah, that's true.
I've had so many of my clients this last 2 weeks that have had the mild version of it, and they get better. And those numbers are not reported. And there's probably hundreds of millions out in the world. They got a little bit sick. They got better. It's okay.
Yeah, they're not even tested.
No, they're not tested. They don't know what's going on. They have all of the symptoms, but they don't want to go in, and they don't need to go in.
True.
It's like regular flu. Many of us have gotten the regular flu. You don't necessarily get up and go right away. If it gets bad,
that's true.
You go when it's necessary, of course.
That's true. So another question I have, which is also my question. Someone is asking that, let's say all of us right now, or most of us, are stuck at home or are in quarantine. So we are working from home. And as a result of that, you're being more, it's just the monitoring methods by our managers or bosses is kind of a little more intense than before, because they cannot see us in person. So we get more, let's say, Zoom meetings. We get to present more demos or reports. How should we overcome that part of the stress? Because it's kind of a lot to handle at once.
I think a really important part is to have a lot of other things in your life structured and parsed down to the basics. This is a very unique time in everybody's life. I hope that this never happens again. But you'll hear from like really old people, older people like in their 80s, 90s, they'll say, I remember when I was a kid, something like this had happened, and it was like the whole town was shut down. May this not happen ever again in our life, but we're so interconnected that it might. So this might be practice for another time. But obviously we're going to be a lot better prepared in this modern day and age. This is something that when stresses ramp up, just like any other time in your life. You have to see what has priority and put your focus on that. And if it is important for you to do well at your job, then you wake up a little bit earlier, you take care of your breakfast, your coffee, whatever you need to do, you stretch, you get your mind into a clear space so that it doesn't seem like, oh my God, I gotta do all of these things and I'm under all of this pressure and now everybody's eyes are on me. It's okay. If you're good at your job, you've been hired, you're doing what you need to do. All you have to do is just take it step by step. You put one foot in front of the other. There's a beginning to the process and an end. Whether that's a 1 hour meeting, whether it's an ongoing project, whether it's something that's more longer term,
Mhm.
everything has a time and a space. When, and this may answer some future questions as well, but anytime a person is in their calmest, happiest state of mind, they're going to make the best and most efficient decisions. So if you find that you're getting stressed out, regroup. Take the end of your workday, take the beginning of your workday, take your lunch hour. You still need to take breaks, even though you're home, and calm your mind and your body down. Get yourself to a really good place. Imagine the most peaceful times that you've had before. Recreate that in your mind, and then go again. And then adjust and adapt to whatever it is that needs to be done. And you'll do just fine. It's okay. If you, as long as you do the best that you can, that's as good as it gets in any scenario.
So maybe just be a little bit easy on yourself too, because I
100%.
feel like we're taking it to, I mean, we're I believe that I'm my worst critic, to be honest. So I think everybody's like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have one more question.
Be easy on yourself. Yes, I want to emphasize
Exactly.
that. Be easy on yourself. I see so many posts. I posted something recently too about it, but I see so many posts of like, you've got to use this time and get it. You know, you didn't start a new business. Just don't even come out of this quarantine. Like people, like there's people, they have children, they have sick people in their home. You can't go to the grocery store like you used to. Like our basic needs are, and then you've got to sterilize everything. Just take a deep breath. It's okay. Again, don't let the media run your life. You be your best self and know that that's as good as it's going to be. There's no comparison to how anybody else is doing it. And most
Yeah.
people are not doing what the media is expecting of you.
That's true. That's true. I agree with you. So I would like to also focus on children, because I know most people are at home. Let's say parents are working from home. Their children are not going to school. So I feel that's also adding to their stress, and knowing the fact that children always react to what adults do. For example, if a child sees that her parents are scared or something is bothering them, they feel it. We can't, maybe they're very young. I mean, you would explain this one, I know, much more better than I'm even asking, but what we should expect to see as a parent and how we should react to it to make it easier on our child, because we don't want this trauma to stay with them as a, forever fear. We want them to kind of overcome it or understand that this is going to be over.
Yeah, I work with a lot of families on this subject, because this is something that you don't want to trigger an ongoing trauma, because this is considered chronic stress when it's going on for so long. But anything a child can learn at home is a benefit to them when they're out in the world, because they're going to grow up one day. They're going to hopefully leave our homes. My son is 4, my daughter's 2. So the hope is that by the time they're ready to launch, we have given them as many tools, tricks, secrets of life as possible, so that they're prepared and they can take a little bit of the way we think and we are with them out into the world. Right. The easiest thing, because for parents, what I know in myself is the easiest thing to do when you get stuck, easiest thing to do is to get yourself into that mindset that I want to be in this moment the person that I hope my child will be when they're an adult and they're in my shoes. Because they probably at some point will experience some kind of heightened, ongoing chronic stress. How do you want them to feel and react? How do you want them to express in that moment? Noticing how they're seeing you is also very important. It's like having an imaginary mirror with you all the time. Think about, how is this person seeing me? How what's the energy that I'm putting out? How is my tone?
Right.
How is my volume? How is my facial expression, my body language, my overall aura? When you can be even just that aware, even if you're not being the person you hope to be, at least you have a sense of awareness that you can then adjust or repair later, where you can say, you know what, honey, like, sorry, I'm really stressed out. Of course, age appropriate, 2-year-old, 12-year-old, 20-year-old and up, you see what is the most appropriate way to talk to them so that they have the information when they're in a calm place and you're in a calm place. And just being able to talk to them, because they're going to hear, they know, 4-year-old, oh, mom, this corona, and he tells me at night, and I'm scared, and blah, 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 and I don't want to get sick. Are you sick? And he asks me all kinds of questions because he's hearing about it. And that's okay. He's a person, and this is part of his story of life. And it's like that for any person at any age. And when you can use language, is the most valuable tool that we've been developing for hundreds of thousands of years. When you can use that tool and speak to them and give them words to any stressor, they will feel calmer. They will have that explanation and understanding to feel calmer, to have, you know, a stronger sense of like, okay, it's going to be okay. This is why I have to take my gummies every day and, you know, eat my fruits and vegetables, and just, again, explain it to them and use this time. The biggest problem that a lot of people are running into, that I'm hearing from moms mostly, is the schoolwork and homework issue. I actually, there's one particular company I've heard about, but I'm sure there's others that have digital tutoring. I posted one on my Facebook page too. But they have digital tutoring. Mike, I'm so glad my kids are not.
Yeah, that's what I do actually on the side. So.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, that's my favorite hobby. So
that's amazing. And
there are so many
people having a resource like you, because already as a parent, you're doing so many things. You don't also have to be a teacher. It's okay. And don't be hard on yourself. You can't be. When you can get someone like you or anyone who can digitally tutor or just teach the children, like, okay, time to be independent. Here's the timer. The timers help immensely with children. Okay, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, again, age appropriate. Sit down, read. We're going to talk about it. Sit down, do this. I'm going to go. I'll be right back. Go throw a load of laundry and come back. And just keep checking in with your child. Again, unprecedented experience in our lifetime. You adjust and adapt to your household. You be so in tune with yourself and what you need so that you can be in tune with your child and be so calm in your mind and body so that you can see, okay, what do they need? What is it that, do they need me to back off? Are they getting stir crazy and cabin fever like most of us? Okay, how have I helped them before to calm down? How do I help them in these extenuating circumstances? And you adjust to the unique relationship you have with your child, and you keep fine-tuning experience out of this as humanly possible. And it can be as okay as possible. It doesn't have to be a bad experience for children or adults.
That was great advice. So I have one more question, which is interesting actually, because I have seen this a lot in people, and so someone is asking, for the ones who already have mental health issues or they have anxiety and they're not comfortable telling others, do you think it's better if they share about their anxiety with their friends or family members or even a family therapist? Because maybe that's not the best choice, especially if people close to you know already about it. I don't know how they react. So what would you suggest?
Well, anyone you're living with is probably going to start seeing and feeling anxieties or depressions that you may have, and that's okay. We're people. I think, especially in the modern day, it's getting put out there again in the media that like, oh, like I see it all the time on my Facebook feed of, oh yeah, this celebrity is speaking out about their anxieties and that celebrity is speaking out about their depression. The way that human mind is created is it automatically has anxiety and sadness. It's like having happiness and anger. It's like people say, oh, I have anger issues. Probably everybody has some kind of anger issues. If you put them in the situations, yeah, so a lot of people have anxiety. Everybody has some level of it. It just depends how much you have and how
Mhm.
much you are letting that run your life. If you let it, any negative feeling can run like the wind in your mind and your
That's
body.
true.
If you contain it, it's like a fire. If you contain it, it will slow down. And you can think of it, like a bell curve. If you catch it sooner and bring it, if you let it go on at some point, most people don't, you can't live that high in any, even happiness. Your brain just tries to readjust and adapt.
Yeah.
But if you catch those anxieties early on and you say, okay, I don't want to live in that state, I want to live more in like a balance, zen, be happy with my life and myself, you can use those anxieties and sadnesses as information, or anger, frustration, any of the undesirable feelings. You can use all of them as information. Now, sometimes that internal information is going to say, oh my God, I'm bursting. I need to talk to somebody about this. I want to talk to my friend or my family. But usually people who haven't spoken about it before, if it's a pre-existing anxiety, they probably don't have anyone they feel safe talking to about it.
That's true.
Even that is information. If you don't feel safe talking about it, and then you do talk about it and it gets reinforced, it makes people close up even more. The
Right.
purpose, obviously, talking to a professional is that that's a safe space. But I've heard, even with professionals, sometimes people don't have a good experience. But don't give up. Even if you've been to one, two, three, I've heard people go to many different professionals, whether it's a psychologist or therapist or life coach. Keep trying. Have extensive phone calls with them in advance and see if that vibe, that energy connects. And go and talk to them. That's what we're here for. If I get stuck and I got a leak in my roof, you don't leave it leaky forever. Eventually, you're going to call a roofer. You can try to fix it
True.
yourself, but it's the same thing with life. If
True.
somebody like me has all of the information that can make you feel better, that can correct whatever it is that's going on and completely change the trajectory of your life, fantastic.
Hmm.
Just pick up the phone and email, call whoever it is that you feel comfortable with. In this, particular circumstance, almost all of my colleagues, if not all of them, are, including myself, we're all providing care digitally. More than
Of
happy to answer
course. Yeah.
more than any of that. So it's not hard to find that. But as far as talking to friends and family, if you look around, sometimes you can find people that before you didn't think you could have as a close confidant in your life.
Hmm.
Sometimes they're there. Sometimes it's a matter of how you present. Sometimes it's a matter of just developing a closer relationship. Sometimes it's a matter of being okay with their anxiety pushing up against yours. Because if you go to someone and be like, oh my God, I gotta like sanitize everything and it's driving me crazy and I don't know what to do and I can't sleep at night. And it's like an older person or someone else, they're going, don't worry, like it's not that big of a deal. You're blowing this out of proportion. And
Yeah.
you're always like that. You're too sensitive. I hear that a lot. My clients are told, oh, you're too sensitive. Nobody is too sensitive. If you feel like you're too sensitive, there's a reason. But every single anxiety that you have, there is a way to calm it and soothe it. If you can, yes, talk to someone. a friend or family member is a good place to talk to, but that might be only a one-way
Right.
street where you don't get the
So
feedback that you need. Mhm.
would you suggest, so here is the scenario. Let's say we are not able to talk to our family members, but do you think if we talk to others outside our circle, anyone else, does that kind of affect, put a negative effect, or does it put the wrong impression if you're talking about your problems?
I think it's one of those things where, if you're in a large lecture hall in a college or something, a good teacher will tell you, if you have questions, save it maybe to the end, but ask your questions, because probably a lot of other people have the same question. It's the same thing
Right.
with anxiety. Honestly, doing my work, I can tell you, if you're worried about something, there's probably a lot of other people in the world that are worried about the same thing. That's why these forums like Reddit and things like that, they're not all great, all of the forums. And you're getting feedback from people who are not professional. They're going to give you their subjective opinion on like what to do or how to feel, or they'll give you some kind of empathy, of course. I mean, do you mean like reach out digitally, like to strangers, or just like random people? Who is it you particularly are thinking of that people
Well,
might
I
be?
mean, just maybe a therapist even, or someone that you're not too close to, but you feel like you can share the situation. I mean, I'm reading the question. I'm not sure if I understood it completely, but I think they
Mhm.
meant someone that is not within your circle. So, um,
Yeah,
yeah,
I think, I,
let's
I
say
think
colleagues, maybe.
I can maybe answer it broadly, and if whoever wrote the question, if you want to clarify, feel free, and I'll answer more specifically. But reaching out to a professional, again, goes back to what I was saying before. You find someone that you connect with, and you can have them kind of on call. Like the way I work is very different than traditional therapy, because a lot of people, and again, it's another reason why I work as a life coach, not just a therapist. A lot of people think, oh, I got to go to therapy. I got to go every week. It's like same time every week, ongoing for years and years. That's one way to do it. But you can find outside the box where it's like probably 85-90% of my clients, they come and they see me once. And
Right.
then on an as-needed basis after that, I have a handful of people that I'll see every week for years, because they're really growth oriented. They want to really work on themselves. But when you can find someone that you can talk to and say, look, this is everything that's going on. This is all
Hmm.
of my worries. This is my whole life story. This is where I am now. And I'm stressed out, or I'm frustrated, or this particular thing is bothering me, whether it's COVID or otherwise. What do I
Right.
do? When you can give all of that information to a really good, objective professional, again, we can give you that feedback of just 1 2 3, and then that will lead to 4 5 6,
Sure.
and your entire remainder of your life is going to be different and more what you want it to be. That's the benefit. That's why it's so helpful to talk to a professional,
Yeah.
because you get all of the knowledge and information you need. Now a random stranger, the
Maybe
tricky part
friends.
about colleagues is that maybe friends, maybe like a couple of steps outside. It's
Mhm.
good to talk about it, because yes, other people are probably they're gonna be like, oh my God, yes, but be prepared, because then they're gonna be like, yeah, and this is what I go through, and then they're gonna talk for an hour, so that's okay too. But it just depends what you're looking for, and
Right.
make sure, take baby steps with something like that, because you're gonna
Yeah.
give a little bit and stand back and see what's the reaction you're getting. Don't plan to go into something like that. Just you can do that with a professional, but because a professional, you don't see outside of your world
That's
ever.
true.
And even if I see my clients in public, I don't go say hello or how are you, how was your day. Just
Right.
that's privacy. But a friend, a colleague, someone in an extended
You
circle,
still
someone,
interact.
yeah. And if they have a judgment or some kind of feeling
Yeah.
around it. But right now, I would be amazed if people are judgmental in this time. I'm sure they are, but I would be amazed if people are not going to be more empathic to you if you need to talk to someone.
Yeah, I can understand that. I received another interesting question, actually. This is very interesting because I've heard this one before too. So someone asked that recently they had a family member, before Corona actually, they had a family member who passed away in Iran. So since that, this person has been constantly worried about their parents. And after this pandemic, they're even more worried. And it's kind of, this is becoming stress to them. So is there any way to overcome this or to deal with this that you would suggest?
I'm so sorry for your loss, for anyone who loses someone, a loved one. It's a very difficult, very painful situation to go through, especially when it's someone so close. And all of this is a part of awareness and consciousness, which in a lot of ways is a gift for us as human beings, but in a lot of ways, as we see, it can plague our minds to the extent that it keeps bringing us down and it keeps pulling us in.
Right.
My mom says it in Armenian. She said, it's like written on your forehead when you're going to die, when you're born, because it's like that for everybody. We come, that means we're going. Some people
That's
don't even
true.
make birth, from conception on. And it's the saddest, hardest part of life. The fear of death is second only to public speaking, which is a very interesting thing to keep in mind. But the worry of it is telling you something. It is telling you to make use of your time, because time is the most valuable resource that anybody has. And it's something you can't recreate, you can't get back, you can't change once it's gone. When you have, because people lose people all the time, people die every day. I can't even tell you how affected I was when Kobe Bryant passed away. No, I saw him one time at Fashion Island, and I was like just heartbroken every time when I see it, much less if it's a family member. It really takes a toll, but it is a constant reminder that we are guests here, and we only have a certain amount of time to build a depth of connection with yourself and with the people that you care about the most. Is one of the most important tasks to take on during a person's lifespan. And you can do that whenever you feel stressed out, whenever it's like, oh my God, but what, if I get sick, or someone I know gets sick and dies, and you're more likely to die in a car accident than from COVID. It's not like you say, you're walking and something happens, God forbid, and it happens to people all the time. And it's a very scary thing. And there's a lot of people that are agoraphobic, and they shut out life altogether because they're so afraid of these things. But you are alive. You are alive, and the people around you that you're experiencing, they are alive. And that tinge, again, any undesirable feeling, if you let it, it will run with the wind. If you catch that little tinge that you feel and you're worried, catch it early and manually go in there and transform it into a more positive experience. Think of it every time you feel sad or worried on this subject or any other subject. Think of it as an opportunity to take your thoughts and feelings and to use them as fuel to do something that will make you happier, that will make you more connected with those people, that will make the best use of your time with them. So you have the memories, because everybody's going to go one day. For as long as you're alive, you're going to see people around you pass away.
That's true.
And for the Middle Eastern community as a whole, it's a very I've been to Middle Eastern funerals, I've been to American funerals, different parts of the world. The experience that we have is so guttural and heart-wrenched. A lot of times I feel like, because the time that we are with these people, it's not getting utilized as well as it could have been. And the love, especially in the Armenian community, the love that people have for each other, unparalleled in other cultures. It is something that, it's such a hard thing to say out loud, but as a professional, I feel like if anybody can say it, I can say it. But compared to many other cultures, there's so much depth to the love that people have for each other that the loss of it is just as painful.
It is.
So
it is.
Use that to your benefit, and use that to have peace of mind that you will be sad when these people go, but at least you know that you spent as much time as you could, you did as much for them as you could, and the rest of it is in whoever's hand, whether you believe in God or evolution or just nature. The rest of it is not in our hands. You cannot cheat time.
True.
So you do what you can with it, and you move on, and hopefully you create more experiences and memories that are heartwarming for you, that nobody can ever take from you.
That's true. I received another question. Thank you for explaining. That was like something I've experienced it myself, losing lots of loved ones. So I know how difficult it is. And yeah, you should have, I mean, the person who sent the question, just stay strong. Life goes on. Remember that.
Yeah.
So the next question is about overall social media. Let's say if social media and big events are causing you anxiety and give you feelings of social isolation, is it better to just avoid them, or is there something else we can do to face it or get over it?
Okay, so I get this question a lot too. This is something, there's two things that cause people a lot of anxiety around social media. One is
Lost you.
The room is milking my battery. Okay, so this is something that there's two avenues. One of them is people who see how supposedly wonderful other people's lives are. You know, it's like this thing I'm saying, like, oh, and if you don't do, you know, everything you ever meant out to do, and you don't have a six-pack by the time, you know, you didn't lose all that weight and whatever, like, consider yourself a waste of a life. Like, we are people. Social media, since the creation of it, has caused people so much anxiety around the world. Billions of people feel that anxiety. They look out, I see it, and I'm like, wow, how is their skin so perfect? And wow, where do they get all these great outfits from, you know? No one person can do everything under the sun. I have worked with people that are social media, YouTube, I don't even, like, stars of things that I haven't even heard of, that millions and millions of people follow them. Their lives are so stressful. They are doing so much to be able to put out information, hopefully always in avenues in good ways, but they're doing things for us to gain knowledge and information in ways that we never were able to before. So just know that as a side note. As far as the rest of social media, and people keep posting about this COVID stuff, if that's the question, again, that goes back to all the medias. You turn on the TV, you turn on, you know, YouTube, whatever it is you're watching, through Facebook, through Instagram, it's the subject of the day. In 6 months or a year, it's going to be something else. 6 months ago, a year ago, it was something else. This is a very anxiety invoking thing because it's around death. This is how much people fear death, that everybody's eyes are glued to their screens constantly.
Right.
If you need to set a timer once you get started looking through it, or look at the clock. I've noticed on some of the social media apps that the clock goes away.
Yes.
You have to, like, click out of the screen and go back into have an old-fashioned clock in your room, wherever I have a clock in every room because I'm super time conscious, but have a clock in your room so that you have an idea of, like, wow, I'm like 45 minutes in, or I'm only doing it for like 5-10 minutes a day.
So manage your time, limit your time, so you can reduce that stress.
Yeah, because any human being in the world that is exposed more than a few minutes of this is going to start feeling, because it's built in. You're supposed to fear death. That's if you didn't fear death, that would be weird. So it's okay to fear death, and it's okay to fear getting sick, like and all of these vague symptoms and all of that. You will know if you are sick. Don't worry.
Right.
People have allergies. It's, of course, springtime is coinciding with this. I have so many of my clients who just take an allergy pill. Last year you had allergies. It might be the same thing this year. If you get deathly ill, you will know. You pick up the phone, you call 911. They will come. They will take you. They will take care of you. Continue to stay strong. Take your preventative measures. Take your food-based supplements. All of that we talked about, and then see what happens. You know. But other than that, limit your time as much as you can. And again, keep reminding yourself that everybody's sitting at home. Everybody almost in the whole world, and everybody's trying to find a way to get your eyes on what they're wanting to talk about. So
that's true.
Balance and manage that, because the last thing you want to do is get sick and already be really stressed out. in LA, I don't, most of you might be in LA, but in LA, I'm hearing that the peak is coming this next few weeks. The peak is going to be out there with COVID. It's going to be out there with social media. Take a step back, keep your mind and body strong, stable. If you feel, the easiest thing to do is to calm your body. If your mind is like on overdrive and you're worried, take a deep breath, calm your body. That's the anchor. It's the easiest thing to remember. It's always happening is your breath. Refocus your eyes on something else. Relax all of your muscles. Get yourself to a place where nothing can shake you and worry you. And then if you really want to, and if you're really curious, go back and get back on your social media. That's fine.
Yeah.
We're people. We're interconnected. It's not everyone's going to know what's going on.
Yeah, that's one of the exercises that yogis do. I mean, you have to take the breathing exercise 5 times and count until like, I don't know, for 6 seconds. That's what I do. So it's really helpful. It reduces stress, heart rate, and everything. So
I've been doing yoga for 20 years. Highly recommend it.
Yeah, it's very good. It's really good.
I'm gonna move around for a second. I gotta get my battery charger.
Sure.
Okay.
Can I ask the question meanwhile, or you want me to?
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if you have any specific references that we can just share it with our audience, like any kind of books or articles or anything, or maybe anyone who is interested can send me their email address and we can send it. I can share some content that you're sending me, so they can just go over it.
I emailed you some books earlier today.
You didn't
not
receive
sure
your email address. No, I didn't receive any. Yeah.
Okay, I'll send it to you again.
Okay.
But there's tons of workbooks. Yeah, I'll try to send it to you again.
Okay.
I'll figure, or I can just text them to books on self-care for yourself. There's workbooks you can do with children. There's workbooks, things that you can do just to work on your relationship with your partner. Any and all of those are really helpful. I'll send you that list and you can post it wherever you need to.
Sure.
There's definitely no shortage of resources.
Sure. If anyone is interested, please just drop your email address here. I'll send it to you. And I have, interesting. So there is one more question, which, okay. So they're asking, what are some more cost-effective or free resources that for people who cannot afford seeing a therapist that they can use? I would say reading, books.
Reading books, doing workbooks is probably one of the best ways because it's interactive and it'll ask you questions. If you have medical insurance, if not most medical insurances, Medi-Cal, Medicare, a lot of them cover mental health visits. You just have to call them or go on their website and find the list of providers. You can also check psychologytoday.com. They have a lot of psychology related people on there with their fees and which insurances they take. That's usually one inexpensive way. There's another great place all over Los Angeles, Pacific Clinics, that I highly recommend. They have a very strenuous process of getting interns and people that work there. There's a lot of different clinics. The school I went to, Phillips Graduate Institute in Chatsworth, they go based off of income. And they have really good people working there. And if not, they have supervision for people, if they're interns that you're seeing, which is usually the least expensive way to go. There's also a lot of apps that you can get. And it's like, $40 a month, $50 a month. All of them have different prices. Yeah, or like different sessions where you could text your therapist. You can change them on a whim, kind of see. Unfortunately, it's something that you get what you pay for. So, and it's something that's very prevalent in our field, because people that their work is better and gets you help faster, they'll charge more. But sometimes, even if it's a little bit of a stretch initially, you'll get a lot of what you need right away, instead of having to pay a little bit over a longer period of time. That's generally how it works. The other thing is, the vast majority of therapists, to some extent, if you call them and you say, look, I really want to work with you. I've done a lot of research. I like what you do. You know, I work with people on fees all the time. Just call them and tell them what's your situation. And usually they'll be able to work something out with you, because we're
Okay.
here to
Maybe a
help.
payment plan. Yeah.
Yeah, and just a reduced fee, you know,
Okay.
especially right now, if it's phone or FaceTime, the vast majority of people in my field, they will find a way to be helpful and drastically cut whatever. You just tell, and don't ever feel embarrassed to say, look, you know, all I can afford is $20. I get that all the time. People call me like, I don't want to offend you, but this is all I can afford and I want to see you. I will figure out a way, and I will see how I can arrange my schedule to be helpful to someone,
Right.
and get them the help that they need, because that's why we do this work.
Right.
It's the same thing with doctors, you know, it's the same
That's
way.
true. That's true. That's true. So, one more question I have for you. I mean, basically not question. I want to know, this was asked, this was the first question that someone asked, but I kept it for to ask at the end. They wanted to know what your overall suggestion would be for everyone going through this situation. So let me just find the question to make sure I'm asking it correctly.
Sure.
So yeah, what is the general advice that you can give to the public?
For this situation in particular?
I think for mental health, not just the situation.
Okay.
So keeping the balance.
Right. So my overall suggestion is to continue with your daily self-care. Don't worry about what's going on in the world, because believe it or not, as a professional practitioner in this field for 10 years, I can tell you there are germs and things out there that we have never heard about, that we don't even have an answer to, we don't have a name for, that people die from every day. Don't let that make you more hypochondriac, because it will. These are things that, especially hearing it so much, it gives me a very deep understanding that you only have so much control.
That's
you can
true.
only be so clean. You can sterilize your whole body inside and out, but if one microscopic thing has already gotten into your eye, what are you going to do?
Yeah,
Being strong, being healthy. There are people in their 70s and 80s that walk around these streets and up and down Glendale, and they're going at it, and they're
the ones spreading the virus.
they could be spreading the virus. Yes, they could be. Most of them are wearing masks, but they could be spreading the virus. But at the same time, again, I'm telling you, there is a way to be so healthy and physically strong that you know that no matter what happens, at least you're in the best case scenario. The number one most important thing that anybody can do right now is to stay home. Just stay home. It's a few weeks, it's a few months, it's going to be hard. Find different activities for yourself. Hopefully you have a window that faces somewhere, a balcony, a front yard, backyard, something where you can be a little bit in touch with nature. That's very helpful. But as an overall, preventative care is the best thing that you can do. And again, reminding yourself that stress does nobody any good. Anxiety, letting your anxiety go far does nobody any good. Sit with it, listen to it. You can write about it. That helps people a lot. You can create a schedule for yourself. But beyond that, you just have to let life happen and see, you know, what's the best you can do. And hopefully that's good enough to A, not get sick, and B, if you get sick, get better right away.
Right. I have one more question. This is the last one I'm going to be asking. We were supposed to keep you until 8:30 and we're just going over the time. Okay. So they're asking, so let's say, do you think a person can change if they've always been anxious and prone to nervousness or having anxiety, or is this a personality that probably cannot be changed in someone?
If people couldn't be changed, I wouldn't do what I do. I get that question a lot. People can change. My husband asked me one time, he says, when do we stop changing, like physically? Never. It's the same way with your mind. If you actually look at your own pictures year after year, a little bit here, a little bit there, we change all the time. If you put your physical change into overdrive and all of a sudden one direction or another, and you just eat and never exercise and you become a hermit, yeah, your body's going to change a lot and it's going to deteriorate very quickly. Or like moms, like you have child after child and you don't have time to do those things and your body's just under a lot of stress, so your body will change very, very fast. But if you go in the other direction, same thing. You go into overdrive, you exercise every day, you know, you put the right creams, you take care of your hair, you take care of you drink lots of water. Oh, okay, obviously that's a completely different outcome as well. It's the
True.
same thing with your mind. Yeah, we're born anxious. You see a baby, they keep crying, they keep needing things, they want to be held constantly, they can't soothe themselves. Yeah, if you're in that state as an adult, either you didn't get everything you needed step by step to grow to a stable and emotionally controllable position for yourself, or some things have happened in your life that have caused your anxiety dams to be opened and just flowing, or there's just a natural innate thing that a lot of people, as in our generation and older, they were told, yeah, if you're anxious or depressed, that's just how you're always going to be. But again, everybody has some level of anxiety or depression, and usually the two are braided together in your mind. If one is happening, that means the other is happening. Anxiety, any undesired anxiety, anger, sadness, any kind of stress is information for you. Write them down. It's a finite list. Write down every single thing that you're worried about and then tackle them and say, okay, this is just my mind. It is possible to change it. Other people do it all the time. You hear stories of celebrities, oh, and this is how I grew up and this is how terrible this and that was, and now look at me. If they can do it, they're just a person. They don't have anything on you.
That's
You
true.
go out one line item at a time. You make adjustments, you make changes, you continue to bring yourself back to a peaceful, strong place. And then you go and you figure out, what do I need to do to make this anxiety go away? Or if it's something that you cannot change, you accept it and you use it as a practice to become stronger, more stable, more calm, more happy. That's all anybody can do. It doesn't get any better than that. Some people are okay being anxious, but if you are not okay being anxious, 100%, there's a lot of different things you can do to change. And it just starts with knowing what is causing you anxiety and making those little changes.
Right. So, what would be your one last final advice for today's audience?
We are all in this together. Keep that in mind. May you
Thank
take
you.
away a little bit of my strength and know that everybody in the whole world, even if they're very nonchalant, they're worried, they are stressed out. It is something that in our lifetime, it has come as an opportunity for every leaf to be turned over, for every way of thinking and being to be examined. Use this on a personal scale, on a work scale, to make the changes so that when you come out of this, even 1 degree change in your life from this experience, which is going to be a lot more than that for most people, even a 1 degree shift over a long period of time is going to put you in a completely different place. It's okay. It's happening. These things happen. It's not going to be the last time me or anyone else is going to experience chronic stress. It's okay. That's a part of life. Use this to gain strength so that when this happens in any way, shape, or form to another person you care about or to yourself, whether it's your child, friend, family member, colleague one day, whoever, a stranger, use this as an opportunity to gain in your own consciousness and your own awareness of your mind and your body so that you have more strength, whether it's physically, whether it's emotionally, to go out there and to give your energy out to the world instead of being pulled down by all of what's going on. Use it as fuel to keep adjusting and shifting and learning about yourself and about what you can do to give back to society. At the end of the day, we're social creatures. If we don't do for each other, if we don't if everybody showed up as their best self, wouldn't the world be a better place? Every one person can only do their part. So you do your part, hope for the best, you keep spreading that word. If you ever get stuck, you need help, of course there's professionals like me, of course there's books and resources online. The only thing there is no solution to is taxes and death. So you stay away from death, you do your taxes, you be happy, you definitely watch some comedy, some humor, watch your TV shows, get your rest, drink lots of water, which you have readily available. Hopefully, if you're in America, you have that confidence that you're in one of the best countries in the world. We're very well equipped. Our statistics so far are proving to be very good compared to, you know, what's going on in a lot of other places. It's going to be okay. You just make the best case scenario for your and your loved ones' lives, and don't feel too much pressure to do more than that. Everything is going to be just fine after this is all over.
Thank you so much.
So
I really learned a lot. I'm sure everybody else did. We really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for being with us tonight, and thank you so much for all the audience who joined us tonight.
Yes, thank you.
If you guys have, I'm not sure if anyone has any more questions. I'm not sure if you would have time to maybe we can just post like 3 or 4 questions. If you have any more, just ask me. I can just ask Michelle later on, maybe.
Yeah, you can even email me directly. You can find my website, thelalifecoach.com, or Michelle at the LA Life Coach. You can post that. You can email me anytime. I consider all of us one big community. And if there's any way, shape, or form, don't feel like an email is ever too long. My cell phone is on my website, on my Facebook page. People can text me anytime. Don't ever feel like you're stuck and without a resource. I like many professionals, am always available to be helpful in any way, shape, or form that I can be. So any questions, just you could send them directly to me. You can post them somewhere. Whatever works for you guys is completely fine for me. Don't ever hesitate.
Thank you so much. So I'm gonna end today's event with one recommendation. I mean, everybody's doing it, but please keep social distancing. This is very important. Yes, I can't emphasize more.
Stay home. Yes, as much as there's nothing going on out there. I've had to go out a few times. There's nothing going on out there.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Take good care of yourselves. I'm here if you guys need anything. And everyone have a good night. Go do some self-care tonight and get started on being your best self for the rest of your lives.
Sure. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You got it. I'll talk to you soon then.
Yeah, take care. Have a good night.
You too.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Night.
Bye.